Welcome in to the Jordy Culotta Show. Wave your hand out there, baby!
Shout out to the show.
She puts the pinky into the nostril. Man, look at that.
Healthy competition, there's nothing like it.
Y'all grow up. The line's wrapped around the stadium. Different strengths. I just lost a tooth.
It's going to be fun.
You know, we might have a story.
I love what you're doing.
Bergeron wants to take us fishing this afternoon.
Sharif, you play for the bad boys of the SEC, man. We don't apologize to anybody.
A lot of people are saying you're going to be wearing number 7.
I don't really know. I want to.
He look crazy, Bill. Good feet on the old man.
Definitely come back.
We'll be right back with the Jordy Culotta Show. Welcome into a Thursday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, live here on this Thursday morning. Appreciate our friends over at Go. Check them out always, every day. GEAUXChevrolet.com, online. All the inventory right there. If you want to stop in and check out new cars, they're over in Laplace. Used car lot over here in Baton Rouge at Go Express Auto Sales, Florida Boulevard and Sherwood Forest. Our phone line daily brought to you by Metropolitan Health Group. And we will talk to Michael Bratton from the SEC podcast coming up here at 8:30 this morning. Looking forward to catching up with Bratton as he's got a great podcast. You can find him on Twitter at Michael W. Bratton. He goes by SEC Mike, and we will talk all about this weekend. Right, we want to kind of dive into different storylines and areas of this week in this college football weekend. It is an enormous weekend for the sport. You will see a lot of moving and shaking here as far as what goes on within the college football playoff. You will see a lot of moving and shaking as far as what goes on in the rankings, but more importantly, you'll start to see what the postseason is going to look like after this weekend plays, or at least get a clearer picture of what the postseason is going to look like after this weekend comes and goes. But a lot of eyeballs and attention will be paid right here to Baton Rouge, to LSU, to Alabama coming in on Saturday night. Nick Saban and Brian Kelly were speaking yesterday on the weekly SEC Media Podcast, SEC Media Coaches teleconference, and a lot was said. We'll tell you all about it coming up here on the Jordy Culotta Show. If you don't mind, hit that like button, share button, comment button. As always, we will be here with you until 9 a.m. this morning. As the carpool queen will be in here around 8 a.m. Stewie is here, nursing an eye injury.
Oh, it does kind of look
wow,
bad.
bro. Oof. It's not pink eye, though, right?
No, it's not
okay.
pink eye.
Because pink eye is kind of like a badge of honor.
Okay.
You know what you got to do to get it.
No pink eye for the kids.
I'd rather just tell a story.
Yeah,
I poked myself in the eye.
yeah, for sure.
So you got a contact deal here?
Yeah, contact deal.
Well, he also left his contacts in, I think, all of COVID.
I mean, I had one pair of contacts the whole COVID, and like it lasted until fall of last year.
Wow.
Yeah, right before UCLA, I got new contacts.
Like
Said he had to
you
peel
took
it
him
out of
in,
his
you never
eye.
took him out?
Never took them out.
I mean, that's pretty dangerous, right?
It is very.
See, I would think that maybe, what if the contacts meld into your eyes and
They
he basically gave you de facto LASIK?
They can.
Like,
but,
that would
you
be
know,
the cheapest LASIK you can get, is if your contacts just kind of became part of your eye.
It's not a great feeling.
No, but it sounds like you did it to yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, self-inflicted wounds.
Yeah.
Get well soon, Stu. Go see our friends over at Southern Eye
Get
Center.
well soon.
Southern Eye Center could probably help you out on this.
Yeah, new eyeballs.
Man,
New glasses.
always looking for an excuse to go.
Hey, for
You know
sure.
what I mean?
Glasses.
Can you help me out here?
Yeah. Give me a pair of glasses.
Who's working today?
Give me those two.
We got left with four pairs of glasses.
It sounds like B.J. Ojulari and Harold Perkins have LSU has found a way to get them on the field together. This was something that Brian Kelly mentioned yesterday during the SEC teleconference, that both these guys going to be on the field together in the base defensive package, which is great news. This is one of the challenges that Matt House and the defensive group had over the bye week and trying to figure out as LSU makes this late season push here of trying to get their best 11 on the field at one time, right? That was the problem with Perkins when you were pushing for more playing time for him in similar in specific packages. The player that he was replacing was B.J. Ojulari, and taking him off the field was almost as egregious as, leaving Perkins off the field. I mean, you've got to have those guys playing together, and that gives LSU, the best chance to win in having their best guys, their best 11 players on the field at all times. So that, I thought, was overridingly the best piece of football information that you could take away from Brian Kelly speaking on Wednesday, going into this game, is that expect to see Perkins and Ojulari playing. And, Kelly was really, I think, he understands how important that is. I don't think that he wants to overplay it or he wants to overemphasize, just what it means to getting the team to its best by having those two guys on the field publicly. But I think behind closed doors, from kind of getting a pulse of what was going on there, that was something that they needed to get done early last week, according to the head coach. I mean, he was kind of saying, we need to get this done immediately, of trying to get these guys onto the field together, and let's start practicing that, repping that, to see what it's going to look like. So that looks like that has been taken care of for Saturday night, as you can now get your best 11 out there. And I think that matchup specifically of Alabama's offense versus LSU's defense, is a really good matchup, with the advantage obviously going in the direction of Alabama because of Bryce Young in what he provides to the overall game. I mean, this to me is the best quarterback that Saban has had at Alabama. I mean, Tua,
that's about the list.
No, but I mean, in 2020,
Mac, what's his name? He plays
Mac Jones. Mac Jones had a fantastic season.
They were the 2019 LSU. I mean, it's good to be the measuring stick every time. Now it's Tennessee as 2019 LSU, but the 2020 Alabama offense with Mac Jones was like, whenever the year was happening, well, they played an all SEC schedule. Are they better than the 2019 LSU offense?
I just don't see it with the Tennessee comp. Like, I think LSU would beat that team by 3 touchdowns.
I kind of do too. I think we'll always be biased to that team, and that Tennessee team is
it's a one-man. It's a two-man show.
Right.
Hyatt and Hendon Hooker. I mean,
Right.
other than that, like, the other guys are just playing out their minds.
Well, I mean, I think people forget how good of weapons LSU had. I mean, outside of Hyatt, I can't name you.
Brew McCoy, but I just know him because of recruiting.
Right. Well, they had the 5-star wide receiver that came back last week.
God, I don't even know.
I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I forget his name. He's number 4. I know that.
Right, but I mean, you had Terrace Marshall was the number 1 wide receiver in the class.
He was
that featured Jamar Chase, and I mean Justin Jefferson,
Cedric Tillman.
Yeah. I mean,
Justin Jefferson.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire was the 4th choice on that team.
Thaddeus Moss was the 5th.
I mean, it was
an embarrassment of riches.
Football heaven, man. It was football heaven.
Then you got what's the receiver's name? God, so fast. He's Racy McMath. You got Racy coming off the bench. Like, you just had Jeray Jenkins was there. Like, they had players.
Was Jeray Jenkins there in 2019?
Yes. Jeray Jenkins was here in 2019. He was wearing, I think he wore 83. He didn't wear 10. Stephon Sullivan was 10.
Golly, Stephon Sullivan.
See, he just got options.
I mean, Stephon
and
Sullivan.
He got optioned.
I mean, remember Joe Brady was talking about Stephon Sullivan in the spring. Like, he was.
But that was just, I think, his first introduction into LSU town. He was like, and Stephon Sullivan, like that.
I mean, this guy's just walking around.
Yeah, first team all body. It's like, God, I can't get him on the field.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think Tennessee would have the weapons.
He was here in 2019, played in 7 games. That a boy, Jeray.
Yeah,
He's creeping into that territory of Ooh, he feels like he's been here forever.
Yeah.
Yes.
He
He's
has.
just making plays.
Well, I mean, the middle of his career was the COVID year.
Yep.
So, I mean, that can extend.
You had your whole college
Miles
life.
Brennan.
Yeah.
You want to be here 8 years, son?
Oh.
You can.
I wonder if did Miles graduate?
He had to have.
They had hunting.
He hadn't, but I mean, he had to graduate. I mean,
What does he
just
do
by
every
pure,
day?
just by pure showing up every day, you
Yeah,
got to get a
I mean,
diploma.
come on.
The
Like,
Tommy boy.
I graduated in attendance.
Yeah. I've accrued enough hours. Give me a
Right.
degree in something. Yeah. Gen studies, and I've got this NIL deal.
yeah.
So for me, I think that the part of this game that LSU really has a chance to keep up and be in this game for 4 quarters is LSU's offense against Alabama's defense, in the sense of LSU has the advantage in the playmaker spot. I think that they have more weapons than Alabama has defenders that can stop them. Now, the concern and panic has to be 2 true freshmen in Will Campbell and Emory Jones, who have not felt like true freshmen at all, ever, up to this point. Here in year number 1, are going up against 2 of the premier, the best pass rusher in college football, and maybe the best up-and-coming rusher on the other side in Dallas Turner. I mean, Will Anderson's the guy, right? I mean, he's the dragon as far as pass rushers go in college football this season. He's kind of the standard. Dallas Turner feels like the guy that's kind of next year going to be everybody's breakout player. So those matchups of Emory Jones, Will Campbell versus those 2 monsters are going to make a huge impact on the game. The way that LSU has the opportunity to stay in this game is the blueprint that Texas provided, I thought, for everybody. Steve Sarkisian, we can, debate whether or not he's a good coach. Can he lead Texas back to prominence? Is he the guy that's going to be able to, make Austin and the University of Texas relevant again? All of that can be debated. One thing that we can't debate is whether or not he can play call. He understands offensive football, and he can break people down, and he can get people in situations where there are mismatches all over the place. He did that to Pete Golden and Nick Saban earlier in the season. That defense was running in space and did not know and looked very confused. Will Anderson got a couple of personal fouls that day. He was playing on roller skates sometimes. I mean, they had him in situations where you've rarely seen Alabama look vulnerable, right? And they did it with one playmaker in Bijan Robinson. Give me one playmaker besides Robinson that would start at LSU that's on Texas's team. I can't think of anybody that would start over Kayshawn, Malik, Brian Thomas. Robinson would start at running back at LSU. No problem there. But LSU has the playmakers and also the blueprint, which Texas showed you. If you're not confident in your offensive line, which LSU's got to be as confident as they've been here this season about the line, because they've been, first off, consistent in playing and going to go into another game with the same starting unit, but still very inexperienced and undermanned as far as going up against this group this week. By no means do you want to get into 3-5 second blocking stances and opportunities with this defensive line. You want to get the ball out of Daniel's hand really quick. Put him in that shotgun that he's always in, and as soon as he catches it, they've got some type of screen, quick release, one-on-one opportunity for him just to kind of catch it and flick it. Also, what we've talked about, which I believe has been really kind of the underlying difference maker for this offense over the last couple of games, of taking enormous strides has been the emergence of the check down. The check down has been huge for LSU, just finding some rhythm within drives, keeping drives alive, and picking up, 6, 8, 9, 12 yards a pop on some of these check downs that are keeping the defense honest. And it also takes the pressure off of Daniels that everybody on the defense thinks that he's going to run it. And that's what they were defending against, where they were just charging up against the run. He was hitting the check down, and the check down was wide open. The check down against Alabama for Texas was wide open. It's a part of the game, I think, this week that could be a huge story of how LSU can keep its rhythm and stay on the field against this, tough defensive unit, especially up front. But limiting the pressure that they put on Jones, Campbell, that offensive line against, those mammoths, those freak athletes like Anderson and Turner on the outside. And not only that, the collection and talent that they're going to interchange on the interior of their defensive line is going to be something that LSU has not seen up to this point. The depth alone of it. So to neutralize that, Daniels getting the ball out of his hand quick with screens, wide receiver screens, tunnel screens, running back screens. I mean, all of these types of, just catch quick, set the blocking up and get rid of the ball, I think is very much advantage LSU against this defense, and probably the formula that you look back on and see a guy like Steve Sarkisian, who's got to be so well respected within the industry of just as a play caller, in the way that he was able to break that Alabama team down. Alabama couldn't adjust enough to keep up. I mean, that game went down to the end, and Alabama was still looking for answers on how to stop Texas. I mean, they had their number that day without as many playmakers as LSU will roll out on Saturday. I really, and Brian Kelly talks about this a lot. His best players have to play their best in these types of games. He said it again on Monday. Our best players have to play their best. If you have an LSU Gold account, he's constantly preaching that to his team in the locker room, after the game, in the middle of the game, at practice throughout the week, in team meetings. Best players have to play their best. And this weekend feels like it's made for LSU's best players. Like I said yesterday, I'd love to see Kayshawn have a big, big moment Saturday night. Or maybe just a big, big Saturday night in his overall production. I think that this game is tailor-made for a player like him. Where Saban, Golding, the athletes that Alabama has, they're going to play one-on-one. They're going to want to man up, and they're going to want to press you at the line of scrimmage and give you opportunities to play in space, to play to Kayshawn's advantage. I think a Kayshawn, Eli Ricks matchup on Saturday night in Tiger Stadium sounds just like fine dining.
Who would be the most probably, I don't want to say hated, but the most contentious player to come back to Tiger Stadium? I feel like Eli is probably one, because we haven't had the transfer portal yet. So I feel like he's going to catch probably a couple of strays from the LSU faithful. Had Coy Moore had that game been at LSU, that probably would have turned into something, especially after he threw a pick. But
maybe Landon
Collins, yeah, that's a good one.
That's probably
where it becomes more about a player than the team, because they're gonna boo the ever loving hell out of Eli Ricks whenever he steps on the field.
Yeah, I'd imagine that Eli will probably get it pretty good. I'm trying to think of somebody
he
who
left LSU and put on 7 at Bama and hopped in the pool.
Yeah, I mean,
he's probably gonna come by the student section just to get that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could see him.
Oh, he'll play into it. He'll troll. He'll troll for sure. But I mean, he's got his hands full Saturday night, right? I mean, like he's got a great opportunity to shine, and he's got a great opportunity to be, lead dog on everybody's Twitter account that's adding him for getting burned by Brian Thomas or Kayshawn or Malik come Saturday night. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
He starts, right?
Oh yeah.
And I think that's kind of maybe a little bit of an X factor. We always talk about the LSU playmakers on the offensive side with all the wide receivers that they have. And I think they have two corners that are probably two of the best in the SEC, because you have to put Eli in that category. And you have Kool-Aid, and then you have Eli. Now that's kind of the blueprint to stop some of the LSU playmakers whenever you can say, hey, at least we got two that we can take care of. And now LSU could probably counter with, if you get a Jack Besh back, whoever you want to put in the slot, because then you still have a Malik Neighbors or a Brian Thomas or a Jack Besh. Obviously, they love to get the ball to Mason Taylor, but you have two outside boundary corners that can kind of, you could say, go play your game.
Yeah. Creek Dweller, the way Tennessee's quarterback Hendon Hooker was able to move the ball was by throwing into tight coverage. Can JD throw into that tight coverage? Look, his windows are going to be tighter on Saturday night, and he's going to have to trust what he's looking at and trust his guys that are on the other end of it. But that's been the biggest strides that he's made over the previous two games, is that, he's trusting what he sees, he's trusting his skill, and he's making the throw. I think that there is a finer line, a smaller window for mistakes on Saturday, and maybe this is the game where they're made, but this is also the type of game where you've got to get the ball into the hands of these guys in space and allow them to play, because look at the way that you've performed over the previous two games. It's no coincidence that the wide receivers have shined in those two outings. And in the same, Jaden Daniels has gotten a lot of praise for the way that the team has played and the way that he's going right now, because he's spreading the ball around and he's trusting moving it down the field, which is opening up the game in the field for him, right? I mean, that's more run lanes. That's more opportunities to make plays with his legs. I think that this is going to be a beautiful matchup. I mean, it really is going to be a fun matchup as far as both sides of the ball go. You got guys like Harold Perkins going up against Bryce Young. I'd imagine you'll see that assignment a couple of times. You'll see Kool-Aid, McKinstry going up against, first-round picks. Kool-Aid's a first-round pick. Brian Thomas is a first-round pick. You'll see those guys kind of duking it out on Saturday night. Kayshawn's potentially a first-round pick. Eli Ricks is potentially a first-round pick. You'll see those guys going at it throughout the night on Saturday. Will Campbell and Emory Jones, Will Anderson, Dallas Turner. I mean, Jaheim Oates in the middle is a monster for Alabama. I mean, there are players everywhere on this field, right? I mean, this is a pro scout's dream to watch this game, because not only what's draft eligible now, but what you get to see on young guys that are going to be out there like Mason Taylor. I mean, how good of film or opportunity does a guy like Taylor have to put down some good stuff as a freshman in this game? It's just cool, man. It's got a good buzz, and it looks like the rain's going to clear out.
Oh, I mean, that's the best news you could have gotten, right? I think you'd rather that than any return of any injury on LSU. Hey, the weather's going to be good.
I was always kind of pulling for the weather. I thought the weather was going to pull through. I really did. I thought that the storm counts 95%. Caparotto wants to play hero.
That's what I was about to say. I think you might be on to big weather where they're like, oh, we got to drop a narrative here. I mean, we can't be getting outshined. How do we get our foot in the LSU Alabama coverage? Oh, we can go with the weather. It's been talked about all week. Cap knows how to man.
Hero, bro.
Yeah, man knows
riding
how to get
in on his
TV.
horse.
Exactly. Oh, it seems like the rain is cleared up. No, as we get closer on a Thursday, I'm gonna get caught. But you talked about obviously Harold Perkins. It feels like he's gonna have play a bigger role. We'd hope to see. Would you use him as a spy on Jahmyr Gibbs or on Bryce Young?
Bryce Young.
Because it
Can't
feels
use him
like
as a spy.
No, you
right?
can't.
No,
You
no,
can't.
not spy him, but like just mirror him. Wherever he goes, you go. Because that's their two obviously biggest threats on offense. And Bryce Young isn't trying to run. Like so, if you want to sit in the
But
pocket,
he can.
He can, but
he can. That's the thing about Young is that he can run, and like that's how they beat Texas.
Yeah.
His running.
We got that one slip, and then he
Yeah.
gets outside. I guess you just lurk and wait for him. If you have good coverage on the back end, that's when he likes to extend the play, and that's when Harold Perkins goes into stalk mode, and he's just a lion sitting in the weeds, and he's like, "Oh, you want to go? Let's run." Like it's unbelievable how he doesn't get touched. I've never seen somebody spy like that.
Harold Perkins?
Yeah, he
I know.
doesn't do it in the traditional like I'm going to sit in the middle of the field. He just kind of stands there. He's like, well, they have to get
Well,
me up.
so
I mean, the
fast.
thing about him that's so different is that he gets like up in the wash.
Yeah.
Like he gets up like that's where you get caught. You know what I mean? But he's able to kind of like dance
He's like
in there.
just like
He can get
has
kind of
an
like
aura.
he can get lean, he can get small, then he gets fast. I mean, and like Coach pointed out, I mean, Caskey the other day. I mean, like the little things when you're watching the game, you may not realize it, but then when you hear like a guy like him break it down, and then you see it watching film, I mean, the athleticism to break through all of that stuff, and then keep your feet
Takes a lot.
and make the play. I mean, a lot of people would just bust through there, and you would like almost fall down because of the effort and, you know, the athleticism it would take to kind of get through there. He's so much better of an athlete than everybody out there that he's able to like keep his footing while he's going full speed and, you know, dancing around these 300-pound monsters. Now, look, different caliber on Saturday night, right? This is as even of a match that Harold Perkins personally will play in his entire life. So it'll be interesting to see how he performs when the lights are the brightest. But
Seems
I mean,
like his stage.
don't we all expect him to ball?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I mean, don't we all expect him to be shining come Saturday? I mean, this moment feels like it's built for him.
He'll be shining, coach.
Yeah.
The thing's built in.
I agree, man. I mean, it's going to be fantastic.
Don't have a mouthpiece. He has a grill.
Does have a mouthpiece. Keeps the grill too.
I just-
Yeah, he's got the old Jamar, like,
Yeah.
white,
Grills.
long mouthpiece.
and then the grill. and
He
then
looks
has
so good with the
little-
white socks, the white spat.
Then he does the turtleneck.
Yeah.
Dude, he claimed the turtleneck. He's bringing it back.
Gotta have it.
Yeah, but in his commitment video, he's wearing a turtleneck. He's like, this man's 18 years old, dressing like a 40-year-old.
Cody Boudreaux put Perk on kick returns. Got that TM7 vision. I would love
I
to
would
see
love
him
to
in the open field.
We almost got a we got a blink. We got a quick glimpse of it, but he got chopped down on that pick against Auburn. If he makes one man miss,
But they
the
got
whole
six.
country gets to see what Harold Perkins is like. Did he play running back? Like, oh yeah, he did.
Yeah, he can.
Nick Saban was speaking yesterday. I got a couple of quotes for you here from Saban. Saban called it kind of a rivalry game. That's always a really important matchup, is how he labeled the LSU Alabama LSU Bama game. He says their defense is allowing like 21 points a game, which is one of the tops in the country. They're aggressive. They're good. They've got rushers. They're athletic. They've got good cover guys in the secondary, and they've got good skill guys on special teams. Their specialists are very, very challenging. What am I reading right there, Lloyd? Was he making a comment about the special teams?
The specialists are very, very good. It's a very challenging game all around for us. I don't know if he's talking about literally just the punter and the kicker, or if he's talking about the special teams unit as a whole, which I would think is Nick Saban maybe trying to. He sometimes does this in the media. You made me realize this, that he's not, when it's something that isn't very good and his team might know it, he brings it up in the media to say, like, look, I'm emphasizing this. Like, I know we've seen it, and I know it feels like something that we can gloss over, but here I am telling you, they're very good, but it's hard to believe me because they're ranked 120th in the country. So, but if you go just kicker and punter, those specialists are good.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of get what he is saying, but I also subscribe to the theory that Saban is never going to give the other side anything, ever. Like, I mean, he'll talk to his team, and he will address any issues that he may have to the media that he finds, that can be done effectively. But, I mean, he's never, ever going to say anything that is going to be close to allowing the other side to have bulletin board material or have anything that they can speak on.
Rat poison.
Right. And I mean, that's why I believe that he, has the rule that he's the only one that speaks for the program. So he doesn't have to worry about that stuff all the time. I mean, true freshmen can't speak to the media in his program. Now, I think that that's probably changed because of NIL stuff, I guess. But, for the longest time, I mean, true freshmen were totally off limits at Saban's program, in Saban's program. And the story goes it was because Plaxico Burress at Michigan State was a true freshman, and the week of the Notre Dame game came out and guaranteed the win on like Tuesday as a true freshman. And he was like, that's it. No more freshmen speaking to the media. And since then, I mean, has never, again, maybe different now with NIL, but I mean, I know at Bama for a long time, it was the same rule that was here while he was at LSU. I mean, all these 5-stars would come into Baton Rouge and you would never see them in the press room, and everybody would be like, where's Michael Clayton? You'd be like, he ain't talking to Michael Clayton until he's a sophomore.
Treatment.
Yeah, I mean, like, you're not going to see him in here.
And you can see that the players know that. This is like an older example, but do you remember Quentin Williams talking about Kyler Murray before the bowl game? He's like, I mean, I just don't see what Kyler Murray, what's so, and he stops.
Yeah.
And he's like, they like ask him if you get like the reporter's like, oh, I'm finally gonna get something. He goes, never mind. And he's like, are you gonna expand on what you want to say? He goes, I'm good. He's like, it felt like Nick Saban walked in the room whenever he was talking. He's like, oh man, I'm about to get myself in trouble here. I'm just gonna cut it off.
My dad is coming. My dad is coming. My dad is coming.
I mean, I just don't see what's so special about. Never mind.
Yeah, right.
You know what?
Check yourself.
Nobody.
Are you gonna finish what you're saying? I'm good. This is over. Thank you though. Bless you. Thank you.
All right, so we'll talking to SEC Michael Bratton coming up here. Huge matchup this morning. A huge matchup on Saturday. We'll talk to him this morning about the big weekend coming up in the SEC and college football. He's got a great podcast that you can check out. That SEC podcast is the name of it. And then Zach Ewing will be here in the 8 o'clock hour talking for Caesars, some of the lines, what jumps out. Remember, Daily, we're brought to you by RMB Builders, Rhett Bourgeois and the crew, rmb-builders.com, rmb-builders.com. Check out their Instagram to see what's going on right now over at RMB Builders. You got custom design homes. They can help you with anything that you need around the house or the office. They got commercial licenses over there at RMB Builders. rmb-builders.com, rmb-builders.com. We'll be back with more of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
Hey Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
Don't let the name fool you. Men's Total Health has offerings for the ladies, too. Guys, is your wife or partner suffering from urinary incontinence, low sexual desire, or pain during sex? Then the O-Shot might be for her. Don't let it scare you. It's totally natural. It's PRP. And Mike Roach and the crew at Men's Total Health will make you as comfortable as you can be. Contact me for more information, Katie at jordyculotta.show.com, and I'm happy to tell you everything that Men's Total Health has to offer for the ladies.
Do you suffer from chronic dehydration? Are you looking to improve your athletic performance and you need to get over and see our friends over at GoFlow IV? They're located on Jefferson Highway. Easy to find them online at GEAUXFlowIV.com. Make sure and use the promo code Jordy Culotta Show. If you do, they'll take 15% off of your initial visit. Check them out online, GEAUXFlowIV.com.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Thanks. And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
We're sitting in the dugout, and Pelfrey is not pitching today, but he's in full uni, he's turfs, and he's standing up on the fence, whatever, just like this, watching the game, and we start talking about, pissing your pants, something whatever. He was like, "I'll piss my pants right now." And
No way.
We're wearing gray pants, long gray pants. He goes, "I'll piss my pants right now." No, you won't. Yeah, how much money do you give me? So we gathered up however many people were in there. I think it ended up being $2,000 total. And so he goes in there. He's watching the game, and he just starts pissing in his pants. Gray pants. So you see it going down his pants, long pants going into his turfs. And he's just going into his turfs. He takes his turfs out and dumps out the pee outside on the warning track, the dugout. And he just puts them back on, and he finishes the inning. He waits till the inning is over with to leave. And so he's watching the whole inning with piss in his pants. And everybody is dying laughing. Manager's laughing. Everybody's laughing. He gets up out of it and walks to the dugout, pee all in his pants, in the gray pants. It was awesome.
Question in that game. You're listening to the Jordy Culotta Show live on YouTube. Catch it every day, 7 to 9 a.m., wherever you have internet access.
Oh, my guy. The host of Mac and Cube.
You said you wanted me to close it out.
I listen to his pod every day on WJOX 94. I thought I was going to beat Charlie. I didn't. You were fantastic as always. Have a great call in Missouri. I'll see you soon, man.
Thanks, man. Good
Later.
talking to you, Jordy.
Always. Always. There he is. Cole Kublik, the absolute best. Don't overthink it, ABC. When you move to a primetime slot and the SEC is getting that billing, make this man the color commentator. He's the absolute best.
I mean, what a pro.
What a pro.
I remember telling them, hey, listen, my job here is to make sure that we bring, big-time football to a small-town environment, right? And so you see on movies sometimes about the way a town reacts to the football program and what it means to everybody. And that was the hopes and dreams that I had for the place. And so our kids take a distinct responsibility in wearing that Z on their helmet. It means a lot to them. And then on the flip side of that, our community does a tremendous job of supporting our program, supporting the athletic department, supporting our school as a whole. And there's really a great relationship there that's a lot of fun to be a part of.
Thank you for the access, man. Looking forward to tonight. We'll talk soon.
Coach, wait, before you go, fix your hair again one more time.
Oh, look at him.
Let's go.
Yes.
Here.
Look at him.
What do you think about that?
Game day,
what do you
baby.
think about that?
Game day. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it, man. Great to see you. Thank you.
You too, guys. I appreciate it. Y'all have a great day.
All right, man. There he is. There he is. My guy. David Brewerton checking in. What does Harold Perkins do for this defense? What does he allow you guys to do?
Yeah, Perk, man, he's just so raw.
Yeah, like, all he know how to do is make a play. But I love him. He brings a certain type of juice to the defense. And he's right alongside of me on the edge. He knows how to rush the edge. As a young guy, that's very valuable to the defense, being able to rush the edge. Making the quarterback step up. But yeah, they put him everywhere. Middle linebacker, outside rusher. Maybe sometimes he's gonna be in a drop. So he's very versatile for our defense.
Welcome back. Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Joel Klatt, one of the ones we were referencing yesterday, Klatt from the Big Fox game on Saturday. Big noon kickoff.
The Big Fox game. They got to cast the characters on that
they
show.
They do,
I mean, Joel Klatt, Urban Meyer.
Urban looks blind at the end of the set. He's just sitting there.
Me and Urban the same way right now. Just
blind.
I think for different reasons though. Herb's in there, Coach.
Herb's got something going on, man.
Yeah, he probably smelled his hand one time. It scratched his eyeball, and he's like, I got pink eye. Damn.
I think I got something in my eye now.
Coach, I saw it happen. I know what that is.
This isn't good.
Here, look. Here's the picture, Herb.
Yeah. Great video.
But we talked yesterday about how the college football playoff rankings came out, and people have lost their mind. I mean, like, they have, like, gone just postal over the first college football playoff ranking of 2022. And, I mean, it's like, haven't we been here before? I mean, haven't we seen what this is? Don't we understand how different this one is going to look than the final ranking, which is the only one that really matters? And all of this stuff is nothing but what it is creating. It is created for Joel Klatt to lose his mind about LSU, but then there's LSU, overranked to a great degree. By the way, the biggest outlier as it relates to the AP poll and what they rose into in the college football playoff. They're at number 10. And guess what? LSU does for the SEC, and more specifically, Tennessee. It presents a really good backstop for Tennessee because Tennessee's got that great win in Baton Rouge against LSU. Like, Joel, bro, man, chill out. Like, this is not going to mean anything once the postseason gets here because it's all going to figure itself out. It's all going to play itself out on the field. He's out there stomping and bitching about TCU, about not getting its love and being too lowly. Like, just if TCU keeps doing what they are doing and the teams in front of them, which all play one another, shakes itself out, then TCU's going to have an opportunity at the end of the year. But like losing, just crushing and going so hard in on the selection committee in the first poll is such a waste of time and such a waste of energy. I mean, unless your Fox executives are saying, hey, we need some real temperamental reaction to the college football playoff rankings. We need to put it on social. We need to have it just out there. Who's going to step up and do this? And Klatt just said, I'll do it. I mean, no problem. Then
I was going to do it anyway.
I get it. But I mean, like, even like I was listening again. I went back this morning to Dusty and Danny. I mean, they're still talking about how unfair and how LSU's done. Like, fellas, on Monday morning when you do your show, it's going to be completely different because LSU is playing Alabama. So whatever the outcome is either going to prove that their number 10 ranking is fraudulent, or you're going to lose your mind even more because they're going to beat the number 6 team in the country and they're going to be higher ranked as a 2-loss team. I mean, it's all going to play out on the field. And like I said, the early stages of these polls are nothing but fodder for talking heads to promote the product for this committee organically. Like, they're just giving you talking points and giving you things to react to, lose your mind to, talk about, whatever it is, so that they can build interest for the game on Saturday. At the end of the day, this is a business. The business model is sold around advertising. The way that advertising works is they want as many eyeballs, clicks, impressions as they can get. The way to do that is have people buzzing about it up until the point that it happens.
Well, and isn't what he does for the Big Noon kickoff, isn't that every other game but they cover, just the Big 12 and Pac-12? And Big 10?
Big 10.
They cover everything but the SEC, right? So, of course, he's going to have an anti-SEC narrative because that plays to his fan base. And he's setting himself up for with this quote, he can't wait to give you the old "I told you so." Like, I mean, having LSU at 10 was just borderline preposterous if LSU isn't able to beat Alabama. And it's like, there's also another side of the coin where, what if they do, Joel?
Worry about Penn State beating Michigan.
Yeah, where are you going to be this week?
It's just
Texas Tech, TCU. Go. That's what because he wanted TCU to be higher ranked for ratings on his end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I see your game, Joel.
I mean, look, and I don't blame Joel for his stance. I mean, look who cuts his check.
Right.
So, I mean, it's understandable who he's going to take up for, but I mean, at this point, I mean, do we really believe that this is going to have any relevance on how this is made up? I mean, what the committee says they put emphasis on strength of schedule. Okay, well then, I mean, you make that, it looks clearly that you do that for a team like Clemson, but now I understand why TCU has there's no perfect formula back there. There's nothing that everybody is going to say, oh yeah, I agree with that, because there's a human element in there. And when you have human beings, more than, one in there, you're going to have a differing of opinion. So there's never going to be full alignment on what the college football playoff rankings look like. And now with it being expanded to 12 real soon, it's just going to be more of that. You know, I mean, it's going to be more intense of, 13 through 20 being left out.
You think if LSU would have went for 2 in New Orleans, got the win against Florida State, you think they'd still be complaining about LSU at 2, at 10?
Probably, but I mean, but it would be.
It'd be more wrong.
Yeah.
It would be early. I mean, it would be. It just that's all it is. I mean, it's just it's stuff for us. I mean, it's stuff for us to go back and forth. Yeah, it really
I mean,
is.
because if you want to dive even deeper into this, you talk about LSU playing Florida State, takes an L. Look at what happened to Oregon they're not getting rewarded at all for playing, trying to go and play a good Georgia team, a national title contender. They get shellacked, and their one loss is to a great Georgia team, and they put them at 8. What's the point of you playing these week 1 games or week 0 games that are against perennial powerhouses if you're not going to get rewarded for at least scheduling the game? Because if Oregon plays Furman and they're 8-0, they're probably not number 8. They're probably number 5.
4.
Yeah.
3.
2.
Not 1.
The Carpool Queen is here. We'll bring her onto the set. We'll be right back on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Donaldsonville Glass and Body, trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Hey, fellas, it's Jordy Culotta for my friends over at Men's Total Health. Guys, do you suffer from fatigue, decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, weight gain or loss of muscle mass, signs of depression and anxiety, hair loss, mental fog, general loss of interest? Then you might be suffering from low testosterone. Go see my friend Mike Roach and his great team over at Men's Total Health, over in Metairie at menstotalhealth.net online. Stop in and see how they can change your life today. A simple shot and some knowledge from Mike Roach can get you back up, moving with your energy, get your sex drive back, build your muscle mass, make you feel young again. All online, menstotalhealth.net. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz. I was embarrassed about my smile. Are you unhappy at yours? Do you not smile back at yourself? I called my friend, Dr. Spillers, over at Johnson Spillers. He fixed my smile, and now everywhere I go, people are complimenting it after the work that Dr. Spillers and the staff did to my mouth. They can do it to yours. Get in touch with them. JohnsonSpillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easy to find them, JohnsonSpillers.com. We love the crew over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Chef Shane and his crew dropping off the meals every Monday here to FM Digital Media, whether it's breakfast lunch, dinner. Me or the crew's going through our meals over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Their weekly pre-order freshly made meals, or you can walk into the cooler over there on Airline Highway. They have that fresh, same service over there at Fresh Chef Eats. FreshChefEats.com is where you can find them online. Fresh Chef Kitchen. Tell them you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, as we are every single day on this Thursday. Make sure to hit that like button, share button, comment button. Carpool Queen is here.
Why so much transitive property talk?
Dodging through the traffic.
Oh, you didn't want a math lesson this
Why'd y'all
morning?
get into all that?
Well, because somebody said
Teams playing teams.
Teams playing
Okay,
teams
got
equals
it.
C. A plus B. Is it A squared plus B squared equals C squared? What's the transitive property?
Yeah, it's like all if the three things all equal each other. or
Yeah,
something
if
I'm out.
Don't look at me on math.
Yeah,
A plus
same,
B equals
I'm
C,
out.
that's what it is, right?
And they all equal the same, something like that. Yeah.
Sure.
It's been a while.
I didn't even know where I didn't even wasn't
I've
even
been
sure if
seeing
that was the right
chat
like.
So much. I'm like, what's all the transitive property talk?
Hey, send Caparato a link.
Weather today. Not
Wait, I bet he does have some openings in his schedule.
The traffic was weird today. Like no cars were on Acadian Thruway, which freaked me out. I was like, what's happening that I don't know about?
Do you ever do that whenever you're like, this is abnormally like?
Well, I mean, school must have just gotten in, so you must have
I
like
mean,
just
every
been
day I'm the same time doing the same route,
Oof.
and it was weird. The interstate was
Little
weird.
vanilla sky.
It was weird, and the light at Sherwood and South Harris Ferry was out for like a minute. So like it went out, and everybody just sat there and then started doing the four-way stop thing. And by the time I got back to it, it was working again. I was like, "What's happening?"
Sounds like a T-bone.
I love the four-way stop as opposed to a traffic light.
Yes.
Everybody gets their turn. It makes way more sense.
Unless you're an idiot.
Well, I mean,
Right.
the roundabout is a total difference maker.
Yes, it is.
Oh, you're talking to the king of the roundabout.
I was about to
Alexandria has built its legacy off of the traffic circle.
Really?
Oh, yes. That's what.
Youngsville, Louisiana, coach.
Yes.
I will tell you.
Where?
Like the first
Youngsville.
Youngsville. I lived there for 2 years.
But now it's
Circles
roundabout
everywhere.
downtown.
No, now it's
Yes.
now it's a dump.
Weird.
Oh no, it's,
No, Coach, take me
Youngsville's
back to the
beautiful.
cow town of Youngsville.
Oh, you don't like
nothing
that
but
they
pastures.
gentrified the that
Yes.
Youngsville.
It's
With
for sure
roundabouts?
gentrified.
Yeah,
Is that
well,
considered
that's
Too
what
many
did it.
roundabouts.
Yeah, like, oh, it's a nice city now. Look, every traffic's moving.
We
Too
got
many people out
roundabouts
there,
like
but I mean,
crazy.
when I lived out there in 08, 09. I'm telling you, it was
Empty.
was
probably.
empty. There was nobody there.
Like-
And then I went back like 3 years later and was like, where the hell am I?
Totally
Now it
different
looks
place.
like
Yeah.
New Orleans.
Yeah.
I mean, it is
Interesting.
crazy.
I've never been there.
You've never been to
Am I missing
Youngsville?
anything?
It's a cool little spot.
Cool
you know what I
little
mean?
town.
I
Is
mean,
that by Lafayette?
Yes.
I think
yeah, it's,
everything's
right
I
by
guess it would be like a
Lafayette.
suburb.
Yeah, it's a suburb. of
Okay.
Lafayette.
Then they
It's cool,
put
though.
that sports complex in Youngsville, and it popped off. Like they
Yes.
have like state of the art.
My
Yes.
mom lives like right by the
great.
sports complex.
It's great.
It gets
I mean,
crazy there. On
we've gone to so many towns around, like Youngsville, Mandeville, Covington. I'm trying to think. I know there's more, but I mean, like we even went out of state to like Mobile, Biloxi for like AAU games, AAU basketball games. And I mean, the fact that Baton Rouge doesn't have a city-run complex, athletic complex. First off,
Well, who runs the sportsplex?
it's
At
privately
Kenilworth.
owned.
Oh. That's not Breck?
I don't think so. I mean, there's
Oh.
no Breck signage on
Well,
it.
it's just at that
well, it's
Breck
at
Park,
the
so I
Olympia
just kinda-
Park.
yeah.
Yeah. But if you the way that it's kind of isolated on
Yeah.
that, and there's no Breck official, there's no Breck signage when you get in there.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go in there and rent a court, you've got to pay somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, you know what I mean? Like, I'm talking about like a public,
Yeah.
city-run sports complex
Mm-hmm.
that can house everything from soccer tournaments, baseball tournaments to basketball tournaments or
Flag
flag football
football.
tournaments. 7-on-7 football in the summer. I mean, Central has one.
Yeah, it
Central
is weird.
Louisiana is breaking ground on one right now.
Where would
I
you
mean,
put it?
Yeah, where would you put it? That's all
where
I'm saying.
traction is.
Well,
I mean, that's the problem with this city is
Private.
that you've got everything privately owned that, baseball's here, basketball's over here. I guess you can do football around some of these. Traction does flag football because of its just facility and its space. But I mean, I don't. There's probably better areas than that. There's probably better places than that. But that's one that's just sitting and existing. Maybe the Burbank, Breck Fields. You go in there and purchase something like that where you can turn that into an all athletic complex that is well manicured and groomed, that is easy to access, get in and out of, and it runs itself. I mean, we went to one in Niceville, Florida for a basketball tournament, and we were in a basketball complex that served as a gym, that served as, they were doing like classes in there, like people were meeting. You could rent rooms, like, and they were doing like Bible study classes or, group meetings in there. I mean, just a complex that is functional, that is a piece of revenue for the city. You know what I mean? Like low-hanging fruit.
Well, it would probably be destroyed here.
It would be.
That's the thing.
No, it would be. It absolutely would be.
Well, you're talking about making in and out, make it easy to make it easy to get in and out of. LSU football is still fighting that to the day. Like, if they can't figure it out, if that thing gets a hint of popularity, that's not what Baton Rouge is really. That's not their strong suit, I would say, is being able to make
leadership.
Being able to build a functioning society, being able to build like
the mall is be done with the mall. No one wants to go into the mall.
When's the last time you walked into a mall?
Long time. I'm scared to go into the mall.
I guess you can't do that because of everybody needs to make that $10 an hour. Like, you're just kind of stimulating the economy.
But there are outdoor malls now, like Perkins Road, Town Center type thing.
Oh.
The indoor mall is like going
I
to
think
the
it's
wayside.
popping off at all hours of the day.
Yeah,
the Perkins Row is for, it's a different breed.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
It's different tax bracket.
Yeah.
But it's still the same type of stores. Like, they're just outside. You're not trapped inside that mall.
I mean, I don't think people are trying to go grab a boba tea at the mall of Baton Rouge,
Louisiana.
Yeah, the Mall of Louisiana. I don't think that's really what they're going for. Or like this new age ice cream that's chilled at a different degrees. It's like, how did you build an entire store around this?
Wait, what?
There's a new ice cream place in Perkins Road that's some sort of ice cream that's like cryogenically frozen, and it's like supposed to be different. And it's like, what's not needs to be touched is ice cream.
Ice cream.
Pretty much they got it figured out.
Bluebell.
Remember Dippin' Dots, ice cream of the future?
They still have Dippin' Dots everywhere.
They sell Dippin' Dots in the
That's what I'm saying. That's where you see them. They don't have them everywhere. You can't pull into it. You can't get drive-through Dippin' Dots.
They were at the fair last weekend.
That's what I'm saying. They're little pop-up tents. They're like a novelty.
They are.
But that's what you get for going after.
They're stadiums now.
Yeah, you can't go after big ice cream. They'll shoot you down.
Big ice cream, or like the rolled ice cream. That's the new thing too. I don't get that.
Me either. It's
why
just.
Do you want to eat it like that?
Now I will put my hat in the ring for Cold Stone Creamery.
Ah.
Really?
Oh yeah, I mean, because that's exactly what you want. You want it a little like you want your toppings all mixed in there, and you want to be able. Yeah, you like a perfect bite. You get a perfect bite every time.
I'll get a Blizzard any day.
Yes. Oh, goated.
What's your favorite Blizzard?
Oh, see.
You sound like Skip.
I know it's been happening a little bit today,
Skip,
like
what's your
a
favorite
lot.
Blizzard?
When you get the caramel from the Snickers and the cold peanuts of the chocolate, I think I like a Snickers Blizzard, but my go-to is probably like Butterfinger.
I like Butterfinger.
Where you just can't. But I'm a big caramel with my ice cream guy. If I'm gonna go that route, I like to have a little caramel drizzle.
Okay.
Because I don't ever do it, so it's like,
if I'm gonna do,
let's do it the right way. Yeah.
DJ Chester, who is a 4-star offensive lineman, is set to make his commitment here in about 20 minutes.
That show was yesterday.
Like a DJ,
sorry.
that name. DJ Chester.
He will,
another one.
He will commit. The elite offensive lineman. He is out of Georgia. Is set to commit at 8:30 this morning, I believe. He's got it down to 6 schools. He's got Auburn, LSU, Ole Miss, along with Florida State, Florida A&M, and Michigan. Are the 6 schools that he will choose from this morning. I know the LSU side feels like they're in a really good spot here. Chester is a guy that obviously you see from his finalist list is a very talented player. 4-star offensive tackle. This would be a huge pickup for this LSU class as they would. We've talked about it. Back-to-back classes, man. You got Emory Jones. You got Will Campbell. You got guys like Fitzgerald West and Bo Bordelon in the class of 2022. You back that up in 2023 and get guys like Zalance Hurd and Tyree Adams from St. Aug, and then you continue to get guys like Mubanga out of Georgia. You can dip in and maybe get a guy like DJ Chester. We'll find out here in a couple of minutes where he pledges to. That will be an enormous pickup for LSU if they were able to capitalize on closing on Chester here this morning. So when it goes final, as soon as it goes final, we will have that for you as that should be coming up here in a couple of minutes. We will also talk to SEC Mike. Mike Bratton will be here talking about the weekend of college football and specifically in the SEC with two enormous games on the schedule, both in the SEC West and in the SEC East. The East will play. They will lead off with the coverage on Saturday, 2:30 from Athens, in between the hedges, as Tennessee, the number one team in the country, will travel into Georgia, where Georgia is an 8-point favorite in this game. Still a big number when talking about this matchup with Tennessee and Georgia. And then the nightcap, obviously, will be right here from Baton Rouge with LSU and Alabama. We'll talk about that with Bratton coming up here at 8:30 this morning. We'll also talk to our friend Zach Ewing coming up here at 8:45 this morning, as he will be here looking at the lines, both college football and NFL, and we'll ask him about that Tennessee spread.
Who are the people? I'm on DJ Chester's Twitter profile. All media, the time on Thursday will be 9:30 a.m. at ELCA. Let me know if you'd like to attend. Every response is just some bizarre account just kowtowing for their own school. And it's like, what do you think that this is accomplishing? That's all just gifts of Florida State and like FMAU, Florida State. Like, you're not doing anything.
Florida State,
like,
man,
they're in here, coach. That's all. That, like, they're trying to win the war on Twitter.
I know the Knoll Nation on Twitter exists.
I didn't know they had such a strong presence until we stepped in the mud.
I know. I can't wait to go to Orlando next year and kick their teeth in on the football field.
They're slow.
I mean, like, don't tell me you would want to play that LSU game now, Florida State fans. You know that would turn out for you. I mean, you're still parading and running your flag around, victory lapping after a 1-point win in which LSU did not block the entire left side of your defensive line on an extra point and have really kind of gone in separate directions after that. But at least you've got Danny Cannell staking for you that you're best 3-loss team in the country. What a crown to wear.
Yes, I mean, if you look at their schedule, no. Do you think that they would fire Mike Norvell? Are they in that territory? If Deion Sanders is looking around for Power 5 jobs and Auburn puts the press on him, are they like, hold on here, we can't let him get to a Power 5 job because then it's so much harder to pull him back to Florida State. If he's looking around, we might just cut ties.
I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility, for sure. I mean, I think that, well, first off, I think this was a make or break year for Norvell, right? I think that this was. He had some pressure going into the season. And while he got off to a good start, I think it's kind of settling into same old
Mike Norvell
stuff.
Yeah, they were calling for his head in the beginning.
Oh, yeah. They wanted him out.
Really quieted down.
It'll be back.
But if Deion Sanders' talk ramps up to Florida State, to Auburn, I'd imagine that there will be some type of movement or some type of reaction from Tallahassee, just because
that's our guy.
You cannot let that guy go anywhere but Florida State if you are Florida State. Because, yes.
Yeah. I want
because
Lane to Auburn, not
I
Deion
believe
to
that Deion is going to succeed wherever he goes.
Yeah, he
and
is.
if he goes to a Power 5 school and he goes somewhere where he's instantly successful, then, you know, smart money says that they'll never let him get away.
Right.
Right? And if Florida State, they try to come in, they don't have enough capital, the money, to peel him away. Now, they have the emotional tie. They've got they've got all of that stuff working in their favor. But if he gets into the SEC and he's at the spring meetings, sitting at the table with Nick Saban, Kirby Smart, Brian Kelly, Jimbo Fisher, Mike Leach, Sam Pittman. I mean, some of the Lane Kiffin, the most well-respected coaches in college football. He may look around and say, you know what, this is a fraternity that I like being in. Because, I mean.
Food tastes better here.
Especially, could you imagine what the Auburn, Alabama stuff would be like with Deion and Saban? I mean, like.
Already in a commercial
Affleck.
together.
Yeah, no, it'd be a great day for Affleck.
It wouldn't be as good as Lane and Saban. Nothing would be better than that.
But you still get that.
Wait, did you see Lane
Not
repost
like
his
that.
repost his comments about Deion Sanders and the Auburn job on Twitter?
Yes.
Like,
He was trying to get him the job.
I know, but it's just like that's what you get with Lane.
I know.
Like,
Do you think he was doing that because he wants Deion at Auburn to be able to kind of prod and prick Nick Saban, just to have somebody
Maybe,
else?
Or he's deflecting.
Right. But either that, he could be deflecting and saying, look, I also know this job is open.
Right. No, I think that there's a little bit of that with
the power in the
him.
SEC at the coach's table.
Oh, man. I mean,
Deion.
Sankey has to sit back and be like,
get him.
I mean, this
Need a
is
wheelbarrow for these
this
things.
is the room. I mean, and you know, I mean, you've got Steve Sarkisian and Brett Venables
coming. Well, Brett Venables maybe.
Possibly, yeah. But I mean, you know, Venables at one point carried weight, especially defensively.
Absolutely.
His first year
in the sport.
Oh yeah.
Give him some time.
But yeah, I mean,
But he has to go to the kids' table.
Yeah,
I mean, you got
he's sitting with
Brian
Shane-
Kelly.
He's sitting with Shane Beamer at the kids.
Yeah,
table,
you
for
got
sure.
Brian Kelly, Nick Saban. I guess Jimbo gets to go to the big boys' table, but he's
He's in there lip quivering, wants to fight Saban.
not hungry.
Drinking.
Yeah.
Smoking a cigarette.
Can't see shit.
I don't like you, man.
Menu has too many pages on it, Coach.
Did y'all see that number 2 ranked QB for the 2024 class going to Bama? Julian
Saying? Yeah, I saw that.
Super Saiyan.
Shay gave us a little
Shay the Power?
little tidbits yesterday, and
Yeah.
he was saying all signs pointed to Bama.
Yeah, he committed.
No surprise there.
Yeah.
DJ Chester's coming to LSU. We'll be all right.
Mm-hmm.
Did Shay say that?
He's like, we've got it on good
I mean,
authority.
he's on the visitor list this weekend.
Is he?
Yeah. You
Oh,
don't commit to a school. You don't not commit to a school and then come take a visit unless he's just like, hey.
You got to
who
be
cares?
real good, Coach.
Yeah. You got to have some balls.
I mean,
wanted to tell him in person.
Yeah. Sorry.
Get the gloves too.
Yeah, I mean I think that's the biggest takeaway from the DJ Chester thing. Sorry to all the Florida State fans out there, but he ain't visiting Florida State on Saturday.
I don't think they're
He's coming to
in
Baton
chat anymore.
Rouge.
They're over us. We got Bama people.
Oh, we're gonna
in
get him
now.
back. We're gonna get him back.
We got Bama people in here.
Yeah, this week there've been a few sprinkled in there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just a
I'm
few
surprised they know how to
haters.
use social media.
Are they married to their cousins?
Probably.
Put a finger in my booty hole.
LSU fan.
The LSU fan did. I don't play like that.
Before we get back to the LSU Bama matchup with Bratton, with Michael Bratton,
That was it right there.
I want to
high level stuff.
I want to just put something on the record. I saw yesterday where Kansas basketball coach Bill Self and assistant coach Curtis Townsend have been suspended for the first 4 games of the season, and the Jayhawks have imposed several recruiting restrictions as a part of the FBI investigation into basketball corruption back in 2017. Self and Townsend were named on the NCAA's notice of allegations, if you recall the notice of allegations, that accused the school of 5 level 1 violations as its tied relationship to Adidas. They have communication between Self, Townsend, Pete Gaddis of Adidas at the time, who was kind of the money man, the bag man, directing money to go in the direction of certain recruits. They've got all of that on record. And they have still not ruled on what's going to happen here. And Kansas's athletic director, Travis Goff, put out a statement yesterday and said, "We are hopeful that these difficult self-imposed sanctions will assist in bringing this case to a conclusion. Until then, we will continue to focus on supporting our outstanding men's basketball student athletes and coaches. Per confidentially guidelines related to infraction cases, we are unable to comment in depth until there is a full resolution to this matter." If you remember the old IARP, which was created back in 2019 as an alternative to the NCAA's traditional infractions process. Multiple schools affected by the FBI's investigation decided to use that independent panel to address what was going on with their infractions, but the process has been just muddied up by delays and other challenges. As you know, LSU reacted to this and fired their basketball coach, Will Wade, in which the NCAA has still yet to provide that evidence needed to rule on the Wade case. Wade's still waiting on his day in front of that committee, in which I can speak first-handedly in talking to him and his counsel that they are really eagerly waiting to get in front of the committee and explain their side with the evidence that they have in tow, combined with the lack of evidence that the other side is willing to come forward with. This is an absolute joke, and it should make anybody's who's passionate about LSU basketball, it should make your blood boil to see the way that LSU was truly witch hunted in this situation and throughout this. Is there anybody that is still doubting whether or not the NCAA had their focus on one person and one person only? And it's why I sit here and tell you again that the LSU basketball program is not going to suffer consequence that means anything to the future of the program that's going to hurt it, because they got their guy. They got Will Wade. And then to wake up and, not to wake up, but yesterday before we go into sleep, to see the tweet that Dick Vitale put out yesterday. And look, man, I mean,
do you have his alerts on?
No, I do not. I do not.
Jordy?
I do not.
Okay.
I do not. But I mean, I follow him on Twitter.
He's just a,
and
Jordy follows one person.
when he
Puts
tweets,
himself
you know.
in Jordy's feed.
But, and look, man, Dick Vitale has overcome some stuff over the last year, health-wise, personally. But this has become very Lee Corso-esque to ESPN, in my opinion. I mean, the credibility that this guy has lost and the loss of following and the loss of fandom behind him, because I believe he has become a national joke, right? Like, I mean, like, he has become a punchline to, in what he used to be, the face of college basketball. He is now a walking joke when talking about basketball. He tweeted out yesterday, so happy that the NCAA has decided not to use the IARP after they make decisions on pending cases like KU Hoops. Case started in 2017 and still started in 2017.
You sound just like him.
And no final ruling. Today, Kansas self-imposed several sanctions and made it clear they 100% support at Coach Bill Self. Like, it just, I don't want to go back years because the rulings have been made and the decisions have been made and they have people in place now and people have been removed. But this is more signs and more indicators of just how hypocritical this sport and the people who cover it is. And at one point, Dick Vitale was the most trusted, was the most prominent, was the biggest name in college basketball. Wherever he showed up, the college basketball masses would follow. If he was calling a Providence game on Tuesday night, you were going to watch Providence and Rhode Island play, because if Vitale was there, it meant it was a big game. And when he ever came down to Baton Rouge, there were lines wrapped around the PMAC. When Shaq, CJ, and those guys were here. Hell, even back when Stromile Swift and Jabari Smith were here beating Kansas over the Christmas holidays, and John Brady threw a Santa hat on Vitale that ended up on the cover of The Advocate the next morning. But to see the credibility that he has cost himself in this sport with just not having any awareness, with not even having the wherewithal to have somebody around him saying, hey, man, don't tweet that. Don't get caught up in that. You're 80 years old at this point. All you're really doing is turning people off. You've got nothing but love and support from behind you. Just don't worry about it, because all of your friends, all of the guys that you're closest and tightest with in the sport, the Patinos, Krzyzewskis, Roy Williams, the Bill Selfs, the ones that you came up with, Dick, are the biggest criminals in the sport. They're the ones that were showing Will Wade and these young coaches how to cheat, because that was the only way to get to the top in the sport. That was the only way to do it. The difference between the haves and the have-nots in college basketball is clear. There's no way around it. And the only way to get into the pool of having is to cheat in college basketball. That's it. And all of Vital's friends in the 80s and 90s, when he was screaming, you better get a TO, baby, and screaming into the microphone and having these college basketball fans love and endear him, the guys he was covering were cheating the hardest. It's all been proven. I mean, this isn't allegedly. This was all proven. Roy Williams had curriculum at North Carolina that didn't even exist. They had classes on grade reports that didn't even run through the university.
It's a Ponzi scheme of class.
That has been admitted to, that the NCAA has ruled on, and you know, Dick, you know why they didn't rule as harshly on North Carolina as they did on other schools? Because North Carolina makes them too much money in the world of college basketball. So they allow them to cheat, just like they do with Kansas. Nothing's going to happen to Kansas and Bill Self. You can't mess with that brand. Krzyzewski and his crew were paying Zion's rent at Duke. They got paperwork. They got people that's crawled up Duke's athletics. They got all that stuff. They got all the evidence of it. They got enough for you to speculate on your platform that they're cheating. If you were so willing to look at LSU the way that you did and call them out for what they were doing, nothing more than anybody else was doing and winning at the time. But the hypocrisy in the way that this credibility has been just macheted out from under Dick Vitale. I mean, he went from standing 10 feet tall in the world of college basketball to a midget overnight that everybody kind of like points, looks, and laughs at this point. And when the day finally comes, when ESPN has the balls to walk into these old people's offices like Lee Corso and Dick Vitale and say, hey, look, man, y'all have had a hell of a run, and we've made you guys millionaires, and we appreciate all that you've done for us, but it's over. You guys can't complete a sentence at this point and really just kind of, killing your own legacy. We're going to end our contract with you. And when it's finally that day to get these guys off of our television screen and having to watch them fumble and spit and like drool themselves into a take, that people can maybe get back to a point where you're like, hey, man, remember when Vitale was a big name in the sport? And he had all that personality? Rather than thinking of every time he tweets or opens his mouth that it's stupidity and that it's like something you could pull up a year ago and say, Dick, but you said this on the same matter. It's just so it's so frustrating because of, and look, man, I support Matt McMahon. I think that the LSU basketball program is going to experience success under Matt McMahon. But, for the LSU basketball fans in this town, or the ones that cover it, or the ones that follow it around the state, around the country, you're now back at square one. You're now back at the starting block of trying to establish yourself as a relevant basketball school in the SEC. And my aggravation anger, position comes because LSU was there. And they were doing it the same way that everybody who's competing at that level is doing it now. And for whatever reason, the evidence continues to come out and point more into look, this was a witch hunt. Not for a school, not for a program, not for anything that was happening around the sport. Not for shoe companies paying recruits. They weren't even trying to get down to the bottom of that, which was happening. They wanted Will Wade because Wade was on wiretap lapping him with his pants down. And they could never get over that. All that stuff that they presented to Scott Woodward and William Tate was stuff that those guys had on their desk the day they got the job at LSU. There was nothing new in any of what the IARP turned over to LSU. Nothing. Just like with Kansas's situation, they got zero to hand over. Nothing. So, Dick Vitale's a joke, man. And, I'm not here to beat up on old people. You know what I mean? Because I know he's an easy target now. But it's more about, and that was, if you ever go, and not that I'm asking you to do this, this has been something that's way in the past, but if you ever listen to Vitale's interview with us, the first time this ever happened, back on radio at Guarantee with Vitale back in, I think it was 2019. 2019, the first time he came on. My whole stance was, Dick, when you speak in the college basketball world, people listen. So if you don't know for a fact of what's going on and you just keep sitting out there and saying, this is going to happen, this should happen to LSU, they did this, the whole college basketball world's paying. If nothing else, it's so irresponsible. I mean, from a person in your position, you're just going to get out there and say that about Zion and what happened at Duke? No? Why? Well, I can't do that to K. Well, then why the hell can you do that to LSU? It's a joke, man. And, it's sad, really. At the end of it, it really is kind of sad to see the way that Vitale's going to go out as a laughingstock. As somebody that's just, he's a joke. Do you take seriously anything that he says? Forget any of this. But when's the last time he's made a solid take and point about anything? You're going to take his take on a 19-year-old recruit, 18-year-old recruit coming into college basketball? What the hell does he know about a diaper dandy in 2022?
The person that changes his.
Why do I need to listen to him talk about college basketball anymore? Yeah, he had a good run, and he was great while he lasted. But he's senile and dumb now.
He's an Alabama fan?
Give me a break, bro.
He tweeted 11 hours ago. The rich get richer. Roll Tide, baby. Alabama football QB saying commits to Alabama's NFL offense. He just copy and pasted from ESPN.
All right, we'll get back to LSU Bama next. Michael Bratton coming in, SEC Mike here. Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Southern Eye Centers, located at 6859 Jefferson Highway right here in Baton Rouge, has been serving your eyes for over 40 years in the capital region. They offer friendly service in a helpful environment with the highest level of personal care to manage your eye health and vision needs. You want more information? Log online to southerneyecenters.com. That is southerneyecenters.com. Stop in and check out their beautiful office located on Jefferson Highway right here in the capital city. And remember, each time you walk in there and you mention the Jordy Culotta Show, Dr. Ann Shaw and Southern Eye Centers will take 25% off of their fantastic selection of sunglasses. All you got to do is mention the Jordy Culotta Show. Check them out. southerneyecenters.com and located at 6859 Jefferson Highway.
Looking to book a dumpster but no idea how? We've made it quick and easy for you. Check out our website at moralesrolloffs.com. Let Morales Roll-Offs know your desired delivery date, and finally, provide your contact details. To make payment, look out for an email invoice with all your booking details. On delivery day, our driver will notify you through text and email that your dumpster is ready and on the way. Now you know how easy and convenient it is. Call Morales Roll-Offs at 225-427-0000 for your dumpster.
We're all from different places and backgrounds. We've each experienced our own versions of life, but in the end, we're all on the same team. I'm part of that team, along with these players in purple and gold.
Kayshawn Buddha, Malik Neighbors, Miles Frazier,
Kyron Lacy, Greg Brooks. Whether on the field or in the courtroom, your team matters.
So join our team. Make a difference. Bet. Let's get it done.
Hey, Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team. Thanks. And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
Do you suffer from chronic dehydration? Are you looking to improve your athletic performance and you need to get over and see our friends over at GoFlow IV? They're located on Jefferson Highway. Easy to find them online at GEAUXFlowIV.com. Make sure and use the promo code Jordy Culotta Show. If you do, they'll take 15% off of your initial visit. Check them out online, GEAUXFlowIV.com.
Hi, this is Dan Canterbury. Join myself and the legend, Coach Skip Burtman, for Hold the Rope Tuesday nights on YouTube. You can go to @Hold the Rope, Skip and Cano. Skip, tell them what we do.
We've got a lot of education. We've got some people that can tell you a lot about a lot of things. In the area of sports, we have a lot of entertainment. We got a lot of energy putting this in. I think you'll like it.
So join us for Hold the Rope.
Do you suffer from chronic dehydration? Are you looking to improve your athletic performance and you need to get over and see our friends over at GoFlow IV? They're located on Jefferson Highway. Easy to find them online at GEAUXFlowIV.com. Make sure and use the promo code Jordy Culotta Show. If you do, they'll take 15% off of your initial visit. Check them out online, GEAUXFlowIV.com. Hey fellas, it's Jordy Culotta for my friends over at Men's Total Health. Guys, do you suffer from fatigue, decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, weight gain or loss of muscle mass, signs of depression, anxiety, hair loss, mental fog, general loss of interest? Then you might be suffering from low testosterone. Go see my friend Mike Roach and his great team over at Men's Total Health, over in Metairie at menstotalhealth.net online. Stop in and see how they can change your life today. A simple shot and some knowledge from Mike Roach can get you back up, moving with your energy, get your sex drive back, build your muscle mass, make you feel young again. All online, menstotalhealth.net. All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, live here on this Thursday. Make sure to hit that like button, share button, comment button. Great SEC podcast is one that you need to be following. Is called That SEC Podcast. It's hosted by Michael Bratton. He's done a great job of getting this out, man. I've seen him all around. He's got a great following. You can check the SEC podcast out on Apple and Spotify. You can also check him out on thatsecpodcast.com. Is the website to find the podcast, and he's joining us here on this Thursday morning to talk about the SEC weekend. Mike, good morning. How are you, bro?
Doing great, Jordy. It's an honor to be here, and my only goal is to get you incensed that Harold Perkins is not playing enough snaps for LSU.
Well, it's a beautiful thing because Brian Kelly was asked yesterday about it on the teleconference and said that Ojulari and Perkins going to be on the field together in the SEC or in the LSU base defense package. So we're all good, Mikey. What's a storyline that you're watching for this LSU Alabama game coming up on Saturday night?
Man, it's all about Alabama on the road, and this is not a 1-year deal. This is a 2-year deal, Jordy. So this is more than just a game or two. But Alabama has struggled on the road time and time again, going into Death Valley, night game. I have been there for a night game at LSU. It is incredible. If that crowd plays a factor in this game, if Alabama's having all these turnovers, if they're having penalties is what really killed them against Tennessee and Texas. And, we're sitting here, we're watching Bryce Young. He may be the best. I don't want to put him as the best quarterback ever in college, but he's up there. And he is making all these plays, yet they're losing to Tennessee. Yet they nearly lost to Texas. Imagine if he just plays a B game against LSU. I think them Fighting Tigers got an outstanding opportunity to knock off Alabama. And a bigger picture, what does this look like if Nick Saban loses 2 regular season games with a third possible at Ole Miss? I certainly think Alabama will beat Ole Miss, but who knows? If they drop 2 in a row and 3 out of 4 in the SEC, maybe seeing the end of the Nick Saban era here.
Ooh, easy, Mikey. Easy on us over here, bro. That's football porn talk down here in Baton Rouge. You can get them going on Bama Week here. What have you seen of LSU in first year under Brian Kelly? That or just what's your feeling about Kelly leading the program now?
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of people initially, kind of a head scratcher. I didn't see the fit, but heck, Coach O was the greatest fit of all time, and it didn't work out. So fit is overrated. He's done a masterful job from week 1 to where they're at now. Never in my life. I thought they'd be 4th, maybe 5th best team in the SEC West this year. They're playing for the title. So he's doing an outstanding job. I've said time and time again, I think Jaden Daniels, he may not be the best player. I'm not trying to put him up for the Heisman or anything, but I certainly would make the case he's the most valuable player in the SEC to his team this year. You remove Jaden Daniels from this roster, I don't know what they are. Maybe a 3-win team, maybe a 4-win team. He is outstanding. I think Brad Davis, they rarely do they honor position coaches for Assistant Coach of the Year, the Broyles Award, but I think Brad Davis deserves some respect for what he's doing with that offensive line. Again, it was a train wreck week 1. It is now a strength with 2 freshman offensive tackles. It's rare in the SEC. You got 1 true freshman playing at the tackle position in the SEC. LSU's got 2. So just a masterful job. And we haven't even hit on Matt House, who I loved what he did at Kentucky. I thought that was a heck of a hire. Tennessee tried to get him, but they couldn't a year ago. He's one of the best defensive coordinators in the league, too. So the coaching staff's getting an A+, in my opinion.
Breaking news real quick before we get back to Michael Bratton here from SEC Podcast, that SEC Podcast. 4-star offensive tackle DJ Chester has just committed to LSU. He will be in this weekend on a visit for the Bama game, but the offensive line picks up another one as this is back-to-back classes that LSU is doing a great job on the trail. You mentioned this year's offensive line in the matchup, specifically Emory Jones, Will Campbell going up against Will Anderson and Dallas Turner. That's going to be a huge part of this game. Mike, tell me what you've seen from Turner and Anderson here this year and how they're playing going into this matchup on Saturday night.
Yeah, honestly, like everybody else, I was touting Will Anderson as the best player in college football all off season. He was an animal last season, but I don't think he's quite lived up to that billing this year. It's been a little bit of a disappointment, but I still think that matchup favors Alabama going into this matchup. It's interesting, Georgia. We got Tennessee, Georgia, which I think is going to be an incredibly high-scoring game, and then the night game, Alabama, LSU. I think it's going to be a little bit of low-scoring game, and I think it's because both defensive fronts are going to be at a major advantage going up against both offensive lines, because certainly I've not seen much from Alabama's offensive line either. So this is going to be a real struggle here. This is where the game is going to be determined, the line of scrimmage. That's why you love to see LSU adding these linemen. Brian Kelly knows it's got to be the line of scrimmage. I think LSU is going to be at a big-time advantage when Alabama has the ball, and when LSU has the ball. I think Alabama's going to be at an advantage with Will Anderson, Dallas Turner, and company.
All right, take me over to Athens. This is going to be a huge matchup with number 1 Tennessee in town taking on Georgia. Both teams undefeated. SEC Eastern Division crown. It feels like on the line. I know there's still part of the regular season left, but it feels like whoever wins this game is going to Atlanta. What are you watching here? How do you like about this one as the buildup is ratcheting up?
Yeah, it's all about first downs for Tennessee, Jordy, getting that offensive train going. I mean, literally, if Tennessee gets a first down, whoever they're playing, they score that possession, whether it's a touchdown or a field goal. And more often than not, it's a touchdown. Because once they get that ball rolling, the pace they run with, the tempo, you can't substitute against it. So it's critical. Georgia has got to win first downs, not give up yardage to Tennessee's offense on that early down situation, because once that ball gets rolling, it's too late. But going into the season, I didn't think Tennessee had any shot at knocking off Alabama, knocking off Georgia. But what we have seen this season, that's what you got to go off, what you're actually seeing. I think Tennessee is the best team in the country. Now, maybe not the most talented, but they're playing at the highest level. And even last week against Kentucky, we're seeing the defense making some big-time plays. The defense is playing above water. I think the Josh Heupel has elevated every player on that roster. And I like Tennessee to go on the road and beat Georgia.
Wow.
I think Tennessee may go undefeated here. I mean, clearly, if they beat Georgia, they should go undefeated. I do think it's going to be a very, very competitive game. I'm not saying they're going to run Georgia out of the stadium or anything, but I'm thinking 38-35, 42-38, something like that. Georgia's offense should be able to do basically whatever they want to Tennessee's defense. So it really comes down to which quarterback do you trust more. I realize Stetson's got, MVP in the national championship, MVP of the Orange Bowl, but I still think Hendon Hooker's playing at a much higher level right now. He seems unfazed by just about anything. So give me Tennessee on the road to win outright.
Wow. Were you in Knoxville for Alabama game?
I was. I couldn't get in the stadium, though, Jordy. I mean, I've been working my connections all week. But, yeah, I got to go on set with Paul Feinbaum on Friday, so that was a real treat. I got to watch the game with some family. But, yeah, it was quite a scene up there, no doubt.
So is this Tennessee run, is it built to last? Is this beyond Hendon Hooker? Is this kind of lightning in a bottle for Tennessee, or is this something that can turn into a consistent winner in Knoxville?
Yeah, I mean, I think that remains to be seen because Hendon Hooker is so important to what they're doing. Now, they do have a 5-star quarterback committed, so, if they hit on him, certainly, I think they could potentially keep this run going. But I don't anticipate a freshman to come in there and do what Hendon's doing now. So, yeah, I think this is not going to be sustained necessarily. Where Tennessee, they are doing well in recruiting. They're getting some receivers in there, but kind of going back to LSU, just landed an elite offensive lineman. That's where I see Tennessee is still struggling. Offense and defensive line recruiting, and we all know that's where it got to be your bread and butter in the SEC. Tennessee has got to step it up in that aspect. I'm surprised, Jordy, to be honest with you, that their offense and defensive line is holding up as well as it is because they don't have many star players at either position this year yet. The coaching staff is getting a ton out of these guys. I thought going into that Alabama game, the offensive line would be at a major disadvantage. They didn't even sack Hendon Hooker. So, yeah, I think Tennessee is here to stay, but I'm not sitting here saying they're going to be winning East championships after East championships or anything like that.
Who do you think's next at Auburn?
Man, I would love to see Lane Kiffin. You know, I think Lane Kiffin is really just working that to get a raise there at Ole Miss once again,
Yeah, I agree.
which he has deserved based on what he has done. But I would love that just for my business. Have an SEC coach jump into another school is always good for business. Deion Sanders is a name you hear. I mean, there's certainly questions marks with Deion. I get it, but where Auburn is lacking is talent acquisition, the portal, recruiting. There's not a coach in college football that's a bigger name that these players want to play for than Deion Sanders. And even if he's a disaster to the level of, say, Chad Morris, which I don't think he would be, but even if he was, I think he would attract enough talent to where the next coach could succeed. And we saw that with Sam Pittman. I mean, Chad Morris, the worst SEC coach I've ever seen. But what did he do? He recruited guys like KJ Jefferson, Treylon Burks, a lot of those defensive stars they had last year. You get a competent coach in there, they can coach them up. So, those are kind of the obvious names. I think not that Mark Stoops is some great coach, but I think if Auburn made a run at Mark Stoops, and I'm not one of these people who annually says Mark Stoops got to go, I think they could get him because they're losing their quarterback. I think he's kind of hit a ceiling there at Kentucky. I think that's kind of evident this year. You always want to stay ahead of getting fired. And I'm not saying he's going to get fired, but if they win 7 this year, they win 7 again next year, I think that fan base is going to start to get frustrated with Mark Stoops. So it may be time for him. And the only way he would jump is to a program that you could win an SEC, that you can win a national championship. And we've seen Auburn, you can do that. So I keep my eye on Mark Stoops as well.
That SECpodcast.com is the website. You can check him out on Twitter at Michael W. Bratton. He's SEC Mike. Got a great podcast, bro. Great product. Appreciate you jumping on with us. This is a good college football weekend, man. Everybody will be paying attention to the sport. We'll catch up again soon.
Absolutely. And I didn't even make fun of Jimbo and his soon-to-be 1-5 SEC record. So thanks for having me on.
You got it, man. See ya. There he is, Michael Bratton, checking in. SEC Mike this morning as he checks in. Check out that website at that SECpodcast.com and check him out on Twitter to catch up with everything that's going on there.
His teeth are very white.
His teeth were, I think he got a ring light.
Yeah, definitely got a ring light.
That's the way to
does that
do
make
it.
your teeth whiter?
I don't know.
It makes everything a little bit brighter.
They're very white.
What? Has anybody started the Urban Meyer to Auburn yet?
No, I don't think
Can
so.
I
We
plant
can start it here.
Can I play? Yeah, can we plant our flag there?
I mean, Herb's definitely dirty enough to jump in with Auburn. Auburn's definitely dirty enough to jump in with Herb.
Harson, you can leave. Leave that assistant, though, before you leave the door.
That's right.
She can stay.
She can stay.
All right, we're going to talk to our friend Zach Ewing next here as he's handing out winners from The Advocate by lines provided by our friends over at Caesars Sportsbook. We'll be back to close out this Wednesday. Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
Tennessee LSU Moneyline Parlay.
Thursday.
I'm ready.
Donaldsonville Glass and Body, trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Hey, fellas, it's Jordy Culotta for my friends over at Men's Total Health. Guys, do you suffer from fatigue, decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, weight gain or loss of muscle mass, signs of depression, anxiety, hair loss, mental fog, general loss of interest? Then you might be suffering from low testosterone. Go see my friend Mike Roach and his great team over at Men's Total Health, over in Metairie at menstotalhealth.net online. Stop in and see how they can change your life today. A simple shot and some knowledge from Mike Roach can get you back up, moving with your energy, get your sex drive back, build your muscle mass, make you feel young again. All online, menstotalhealth.net. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz. I was embarrassed about my smile. Are you unhappy at yours? Do you not smile back at yourself? I called my friend, Dr. Spillers, over at Johnson Spillers. He fixed my smile, and now everywhere I go, people are complimenting it after the work that Dr. Spillers and the staff did to my mouth. They can do it to yours. Get in touch with them. JohnsonSpillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easy to find them, JohnsonSpillers.com. We love the crew over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Chef Shane and his crew dropping off the meals every Monday here to FM Digital Media, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner. Me or the crew's going through our meals over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Their weekly pre-order, freshly made meals, or you can walk into the cooler over there on Airline Highway. They have that fresh, same service over there at Fresh Chef Eats. FreshChefEats.com is where you can find them online. Fresh Chef Kitchen. Tell them you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Closing it out here on this Thursday, getting you set for the weekend. You know what we like to do on this Thursday before we get out of here is talk to our friend Zach Ewing from The Advocate. He is the head of gaming and sports gaming over at The Advocate. You can check him out on Twitter at Zach Ewing and catch him every Thursday here on the Jordy Culotta Show. All of our lines are provided by Caesars Sportsbook. You see the QR code in the top right of your screen. Use the promo code FMFULL, the letter F, the letter M, full, to get yourself some good savings over there at Caesars Sportsbook. All right, Zach, pretty active card this weekend as far as intrigue, interest. A lot of big games, especially on Saturday. Let's start there. We can start on Thursday night. Any games jumping out to you?
Why start on Thursday night?
Right.
I mean,
Houston, Philly, NFL.
Yeah.
Houston money line.
It's kind of crazy that it's the same night as a Houston Philly in the World Series, like how that happened. But
sports.
It's the one night of the year people might actually choose baseball over football, right? Like I love baseball and I will anyway, but I don't know that most people will normally. I don't know. Like 13.5 points is too many to lay in an NFL game, but Houston is awful.
Whew.
Is awful.
Number 1 pick bad.
Yeah, and Brandon Cooks doesn't want to be there, and he's their best player, and like that's a whole locker room thing, and I wouldn't touch this game with a 10-foot pole. So maybe the under, maybe the Eagles on a short week just come in, score 3 touchdowns, and get out of there 24-7 or something. So that's what I would look for. But
13.5 and 46 is the number according to Caesars.
Yuck.
As Zach said, 13.5 points for Philly, who is still undefeated going into this game. You mentioned the baseball. They were rained out on Tuesday night and had to bump back a couple of games. Last night, Houston no-hits Philly, and Houston gets a 5-0 win to tie that series up 2 games apiece. They will go again tonight because of the rain delay the other night. How do you like this series? And tonight we've got Houston minus 160.
Yeah, I said last week take Philly in game 1 and take Houston for the series, which didn't look very good 3 innings in, but it looks pretty good now.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Philly's got to win this game tonight, right? They can't go back to Houston down 3-2.
Yeah.
I do think Verlander, as I said last week, I think he's the Astros' worst starting pitcher right now. Even after McCullers was lit up on Tuesday, Verlander's gettable. Dusty Baker stayed with him way too long last week. Like, I'll be interested to see if that happens again. If he gives up a couple early runs, it might be time to go to that bullpen.
Who's Philly got? Is it Syndergaard?
It's Wheeler, I think, tonight, isn't it?
Is it? No, it's Noah.
It's Syndergaard. Okay, they're saving Wheeler for game 6.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, boy, Philly's got to win tonight, but that pitching matchup does not look good on paper. So, at this point, I think it's Houston's to lose.
All right, how are we feeling about Sunday?
Looked at a couple of games. I really like the Bengals in a bounce back spot. I don't think the Browns are a bad matchup for them. I don't know that the loss of Jamar Chase is going to be that dramatic. I think it has an effect, but I don't think that's all that was on Monday. I think that was just a bad matchup for them on the offensive line. The Panthers can't do that to them. That line was 9 a week ago, and now it's actually bounced up to 7.5. But that's still too much of a difference for me. So I'll take Cincinnati. I kind of like the Jets with a bunch of points against Buffalo. I know that's scary, and Buffalo blows everybody out and everything. They've been a different team on the road. The Jets are salty. They fight.
Good defense.
It's like 12.5.
Yeah.
That's a lot of points. And the golden rule of NFL betting is home dogs in divisional games. And I think that's got to be especially true when you're getting double-digit points. And it's not like the Jets are bad, right? Like, we're not talking about the Texans here. So I don't understand that line. I'll take the Texans there. I'll take the Jets there.
You're almost having to buy like a little bit of a Buffalo tax at this point because of how well they've been. They're just the narrative around them. You would think that they would be the undefeated team in the NFL, but people are so enamored by Buffalo that it's just put the line at whatever you want. People are still probably going to at least take a chance on Buffalo blowing you out.
For sure. I'm thinking about New England. Bill Belichick against a rookie quarterback seems juicy. I think they're minus 5.5. The only problem I have is that I think Belichick's in this frame of mind where he knows he can't open up the offense, and so you're going to play a bunch of these 17-10 games and stuff. And in a game like that, 5.5 is a lot of points. So I worry a little bit about that, but that was the other one I'm looking at.
What a night to be in the Dome on Monday night. They're giving away Dome Patrol posters.
Oh, that's cool.
Which has been...
You got one in here?
We got one.
Oh, hell yeah.
We got an original.
That same one they're giving away?
They're giving away that poster. And Jeff Duncan, who covers the New Orleans Saints, has had some... Like, he's seen the poster, and when he saw it the first time, he was like, bro, where did you get that?
Like ours?
That one. When he came
There's one in the Hall of Fame, I think.
There's one in the Hall of Fame. But Duncan has never been able to get one. And he wrote the story for the Advocate. Was it for the Advocate?
He might have still been at the Pick unit at that time.
Okay,
yeah, before he merged, yes.
But he explained the iconic night of kind of like how that came together. And he's got like pictures of like Sam Mills like with his kids standing in front of the Jeep.
Yeah.
Like standing like with all the gear on.
You know what that was for us because that was when Sam went into the Hall of Fame.
That's right.
So I think it was just his last year. Yeah.
Exactly right. But Duncan told the story about the Dome Patrol poster. I don't know, Stu. Can you zoom in on that, Katie?
Go wrangle Skip for me.
Can you reach?
Katie, be careful with
Skipper?
me.
Yeah.
I'd like a hug.
Yeah, right.
Can you come get me?
Yeah, look at Skip. He's getting excited right now.
Don't run away from me.
My question is, how do they wait that long to announce a giveaway like that? They would have sold that thing out 2 months ago.
This thing goes for like on eBay. They go for like $300.
Yeah.
I mean, like if there's any that like exist.
But you got like an alarm on that frame?
That is, yeah, right.
We should.
That's got to be the most iconic Saints picture ever. I mean, like.
Well, Drew Brees with the baby.
It's look
the poster.
The Dome Patrol thing is like it's so 80s, early 90s, right? Like, but it works somehow. Like it just fit those guys, and they were iconic, like you said.
Are any of them going to be there? Is there a reason for it?
Oh, I'd imagine that Pat Swilling and Ricky Jackson.
Ricky Jackson comes by all the time.
Yeah, I didn't know if they were just
Pat
honoring.
Swilling was a politician in the area for a long time before his kids went off to, I believe they both played at Georgia Tech. But Baltimore's a 2.5-point favorite Monday night.
His son
in the
was
Dome.
the one George Pickens got in a fight with.
That's right.
Trace Willing.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah,
that's exactly right.
No, I mean, there's a lot of money coming in on the Saints. I can tell you that, and I think some of it has to do with Baltimore injuries. Rashad Bateman's out. Mark Andrews might be out. There's another receiver out too, and I can't think of who it is. But they're sort of bereft of weapons. Possibly, we don't get. It's Monday night, so we don't get the first injury report until today.
Is it Duvernay?
It might be Duvernay, but they're a little banged up. And then I was listening to a pro handicapper I like who brought up this interesting point. This after this, the Ravens play one game for 3 weeks. because they have their bye week, and then they don't play again until like the following Monday night. So they have this spot in the schedule where if you're John Harbaugh and that division's wide open and you have a bunch of division games coming up and you have a chance for a 3-week break for some of these guys, don't you just say we're resting it? It's almost not that they're not going to try, but it's almost a punt situation where we'll go in there with who we go in there with and we'll see what happens. But I think that might be why you see some money on the Saints, and so we'll see what the injury report is. But I think it's a good spot.
All right, any other plays stand out?
Yeah, I mean, on Saturday, one that I really like, and this is going to sound weird, but Northwestern's getting 38 points against Ohio State. It's supposed to be like pouring rain and 25-mile-an-hour winds in Chicago and Evanston. 38 points? I mean, listen, I know Ohio State could score 60 if they want to, but they just came off this bruising game against Penn State. I think they play Indiana or somebody next week. It's not a difficult game. It's not like it's a look-ahead spot, but you have this road trip. The weather's nasty. I mean, isn't this the ultimate, let's put up 3 touchdowns in the first quarter and then run the ball 60 times and get C.J. Stroud his numbers and then get him out of the game and win 31-7. Right? I mean,
for the cover.
38 points. I mean, where is that number coming from in bad weather? I don't understand it.
Are we sure about the bad weather? Because we've had some reports
that's what
around
the forecast,
Baton Rouge.
As we know, weather reports are never wrong. But that's what the weather report says.
And I would
right
say
now.
it's a little easier to predict the weather up in that part of the world than it is down
cold
here.
and rainy and windy in Chicago.
We've got
imagine that.
We've been going at Caparato all morning because we think he's a hero. He likes to kind of tell you on Monday 96% chance of rain Saturday night in Tiger Stadium. Now Thursday, it's gone down to 20.
Well, it's going to be in the morning, right? That's what they're saying now.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I mean.
Earlier in the week, it was later at night. You know what I mean? This guy Caparato wants to play hero all day.
It's unfortunate.
He's a shill for corporate weather.
Where else can you come on the air and give out wrong information? Oh, wait.
You get comfortable in
I
that
would
chair.
never do that.
They hire people to do this? Zach, have a great weekend. Thank you as always, buddy.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, man. Follow Zach on Twitter and catch him here
For his real picks.
every Thursday. That's right. He's on Twitter at @ZEwing is where you follow him there. All right, appreciate everybody being involved. Hit that like button, share button, comment button. We'll be back with you for tomorrow, Friday's edition of Game Week, as we'll be inching closer to kickoff between the Tide and the Tigers. We'll be eating food, compliments of our friends over at Iverstein's. We'll have more picks for you going into the weekend, and it'll be a good time. Come join us. Driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Talk to you tomorrow morning.
Iverson, springing elephant.